Good morning. I begin by acknowledging the Sioux, Chippewa, Ojibwa, and other indigenous people on whose land Minnesota is built. And I also begin by honoring Prince, your own Prince, who is presumably in the afterworld. Thank you, Kayla and Jamil, for that kind introduction. Thank you, Justin, and to the Minnesota Justice Research Center for your work to transform justice. I'm particularly grateful for your work in housing, which is such a critical part of embracing people when they return home. And I'm also grateful for your groundbreaking work to change policing. I have to acknowledge Gina Evans, your board member, who courageously steps back into spaces with trauma to help others. And my good friend Mark Osler, who's on your research board, who's been a soldier on the battlefield for justice in the clemency space. And thank you to all of you for being warriors in this work. So here we are on day 2. Now, I have to say, I was surprised that cheese curd wasn't on the menu last night, especially cheese curd on a stick. But you did get banana pudding in a jar, which to this Southern person who was reared on my mama's banana pudding sounds like heaven. I'm not sure who I upset to place me in the program after you heard from Desmond Meade, who, after he speaks, there's really nothing left to say. And then after this amazing poet and spoken word artist, Zeke. Shout out to you, Zeke, for getting us started in that beautiful way. But I am here now in this space with all of you. I am here now in this space with all of you. I am here now in this space with all of you. So I'll tell you, I'm not going to tell you anything that you don't already know. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but there won't be any gems. What I hope to do is to help you remember, become a part again of the basic knowledge that we all have at the level of our humanity. So building bridges is a perfect theme for this work because a bridge, as you know, is a structure to overcome a barrier, to make connections. And bridges require precision and careful work. There are really 3 basic fundamentals of building bridges. I'm going to talk to you about those today. Step 1, site and inspection planning. Before you do anything, you have to test the soil. You have to test the soil for strength and how much weight it can bear, how much pressure it can take. When we look at our current criminal legal system, we see soil drenched in sweat and blood of those who've come before us. And some of us understand more than others the weight and the pressure associated with America's carceral system. We know that despite being 25% of the world's population, America has more people incarcerated than any other nation, at 2.3 million people, and a little over 8,000 are in Minnesota prisons. While America incarcerates 437 in every 100,000 people, Minnesota incarcerates 145 in every 100,000, with the Black to white disparity being nearly 10 to 1. So the amount of pressure in the mass incarceration system is great, and it weighs heavily on so many people being pressured into the system with over-policing, and pressured through the system with plea deals, and pressured within the system with the trauma that incarceration poses to people and families and communities. But I'll tell you, as Zeke mentioned, I'm encouraged by some of the election results we saw. Your own Senate seems to offer some promise. What happened in this past election cycle is that the rhetoric of tough on crime, which we know has always meant tough on people, seems to have failed across the nation. And despite spending $157 million during this election on race baiting, tough on crime ads, fearmongers didn't get the payoff they wanted. Polling shows that there still is a concern for public safety, but there's a noticeable shift from those failed policies that drove mass incarceration. So the soil has been tested and it's strong. Step number 2 in building a bridge is setting the foundation. And to set the foundation, you have to install solid pillars that can support immense weight. Webster defined pillars as a supporting and integral part or member. Engineers tell us that when building a bridge over water, the pillars must be set deeply, far beneath the currents that flow. And in this land of 10,000 lakes, it's appropriate that you chose to build a bridge. And there's no doubt that there's troubled water. I have to admit that music is a big part of my life. So I think in song, and even right now I'm hearing Aretha Franklin sing, "Like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me down." Now, I know you're glad I didn't sing that. You hear the little hoarseness in my voice, so I won't do that to you today. But you are the ones who set the foundation that'll support this bridge, even against tremendous pressure in the wake of troubled water. And our bridge will be built on the pillars of fairness, equity, accountability, and restoration, right? We know these pillars are integral to transforming this system. So pillars must be strong. They're made of concrete and steel, so the entire bridge won't collapse. In fact, pillars are needed most when the pressure is greatest. The pillar of fairness means fairness for everyone, not just for the wealthy or the beloved, because that's what makes it fairness. The pillar of equity means recognizing that we don't all start at the same place and ensuring change to cure that imbalance. The pillar of accountability is for all time, not just sometime, not just when you're caught on video for the world to see, but in the darkness, under the cover of night, or the color of law, mistreating someone with less power than you in that moment. And the pillar of restoration, the one that's dear to me, is for people and communities alike. It's for the person who got lost in the bottom of a bottle, and it's for the person who got drunk on power. If people are to come home, they must be received into a society prepared to welcome them, prepared to invest in their restoration, prepared to give them the full benefit of a second chance. Restoration means that a system is no longer what it was, but something better, because people are not disposable. Our system is operated as if one who is broken no longer has value. But in kitsungi, the Japanese art of putting broken pieces back together with gold, it's built on the idea that embracing flaws and imperfections, you can create a stronger, more beautiful piece. If these pillars aren't strong, our bridge will crumble and fall and take us all down with it. But I'm confident in our pillars. I'm confident that they're strong and they're driven deeply. I'm confident that the bridge we seek to build will be supported by these pillars even when the storms come. And I'm confident that these pillars will hold in troubled waters. You've already demonstrated that in Minnesota. You've already demonstrated that for the world to see that change is possible. Your resilience in the face of trials, as Ben would put it, like a punch-drunk boxer. You've withstood and still stand to show what's possible when you build a bridge. Step 3 to building a bridge is to build upward. Build upward with concrete and steel to ascend and be strong. The bridge we have to build is vast. It has to span the chasm from indifference to love. And the only way to build up is with and through love. Ben sat me down and asked me what I wanted to speak about because he wanted to make sure I'm an appropriate speaker. And I told him, I talk about love. My Twitter handle is Justice is Love. I am here because of love. It's my honor and duty to love. Now, I know love is squishy and buildings are, strong, made of concrete. But within each molecule of concrete is an energy that gives that concrete its strength. We can't see it, but we know the energy is there. We can't see the energy, but we know when it's not there. The writer A.R. Lucas said that we've been infected with the idea that love is only an emotion felt between two people. But love is universal. Love is an energy. Love is a contagious force, a gift. To offer money to a homeless person is to love. To save a worm from the sun is to love. To smile at a stranger is to love. To be grateful, to be hopeful, to be brave, to be forgiving, to be proud is to love. And I'm here to tell you today that love is the necessary energy for us to build upward. If I have love in my heart, I can't harm you or wish you harm. And I can't abide a system that dehumanizes you or dehumanizes any of my fellow human beings. And I can't refer to someone as criminal, believing they are different from me. Because the truth is, all of us are capable of doing all of the things that all of us do, given the right set of circumstances. So love must be a part of our work. It's the only way to build upward. When we build a bridge, we must consider what storms may come, and they will come. Adversity, the great professor, will come to teach us the strength of our structure. The inevitable backlash from change will test us. The prosecutor who makes powerful decisions in a humane way will face a recall. The judge who, against the prevailing tradition of heartlessness, introduces mercy and grace into the courtroom will face, in the next election, a fear-mongering opponent. The advocate who speaks truth to power, advocating, Ben, for a consent decree or for humane standards of conduct, will sometimes stand alone to face the blows of those who cling to an oppressive system. And sadly, sometimes that opposition will come from within our own ranks. Sometimes our family, we attack each other. And finally, the human being who is incarcerated will get that look, that look when applying for a job or even from family when they return home. These tests come to show us who we are, though. Adversity is derived from the Latin adversitas or advertere, which means to turn toward. So we turn to face them together. When the storm comes, we turn toward the storm together, locked in love, and we hold fast. Because remember, they shoot at eagles, not at pigeons. So there's no reason to come at someone who's not making a difference. In fact, this is how you know you're making a difference in a racist, inhumane system, because you've attracted the attention of those who want to hold the status quo. Otherwise, they'd leave you alone because you're not a threat. So let them come for us. In the Matrix remix, when Morpheus was speaking to Zion, he says this to them: "Hear me. It is true what you have heard. The machines have gathered an army, and as I speak, that army is drawing near to our home. Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us, but if we are to be prepared for us, we must shed our fear. I stand here before you now truthfully unafraid, and not because I believe in something you do not. I stand here without fear because I remember. I remember that I am not here because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought the machines. I remember that for 100 years they have sent armies to destroy us. And after a century of war, I remember what matters most. We are still here. Tonight, let us send a message to that army. Tonight, let us shake this cave. Tonight, let us tremble these walls of earth and steel and stone. Let us be heard from red core to black sky. Tonight, let us make them remember this is Zion and we are not afraid." Thank you, Morpheus, for that word. So let us build our bridges. Let us be tested for how much pressure we can bear. We don't fear pressure. We faced it for centuries. And let us face adversity. The great professor, let's show adversity that we are not afraid. Let us set a foundation strong enough to hold the weight of our battles. Let us drive the pillars of fairness and equity and accountability and restoration deep enough to withstand the current. Let us build upward toward our vision of a reimagined justice. Let us remember the path that got us here and clear the path forward, understanding that there is no one better suited for this task than us. We are here now in this space, in this moment, because we are the warriors equipped for this battle. So let them come at us. And when they come, let them find us unafraid. Let them find that we have built a bridge from indifference to love, and they will have to understand that justice is love.